Can I get some fry salt?
Look at that burger. Nothing better than a meaty, juicy burger.
Oh, yeah.
Except this burger isn't exactly what it looks like.
How is it possible? Well, it's the Impossible Burger.
The Impossible Burger.
It's a plant-based burger.
Impossible meat is an alternative to regular beef, but the differences are hard to spot. The Impossible Burger supposedly tastes exactly like a regular burger with a beef patty, and I've never tried one before, but let's see how this thing tastes and see what all the hype is about. The plant-based food is quickly gaining popularity due to its health benefits and meat-like taste. International travelers from places like Germany are even intrigued.
And they were curious about the Impossible meat. It was a party of 16, 14 out of the 16 ordered it, and they loved it.
With only a select number of businesses that offer the meat in the local area, the Impossible Burger is extremely in demand.
We're supplied up right now, but a month ago there was a shortage.
Very popular.
If something healthy that's a rare item you can find and it's not served everywhere, of course you got an advantage and some popularity serving that one item.
So should Nebraska's thriving beef and cattle industries be worried?
Have they grabbed a large portion of our consumption? Not at this point.
Looks like the meat industry is doing just fine.
Just in live animal sales in the beef cattle industry annually, it's about a $6.5 billion industry.
The Impossible Burger is just an alternative.
Everybody I know still loves beef. I mean, we're in Nebraska.
Well, I'm a meat lover, and now and then it's just, a good substitute.
Reporting in Omaha,
This is the burger.
Rudolph Sinaida, 3 News Now.
The community of Hamburg, Iowa was one of the hardest hit towns during the flooding. Currently, only 2 businesses on its main street are open. The movie theater is on track to reopen soon. The businesses worry some of their former neighbors won't be coming back. On a weekday afternoon, you'd assume Main Street Hamburg would be bustling with business. The Stoner Drug Pharmacy is open, but no one's inside.
Little towns have their problems as it is, and keeping businesses in town, and you get something like this happen, and that just adds to it.
The road's like a ghost town. You don't see anybody going anymore unless they're coming to the pharmacy, which is the only place they can go to.
Stoner Drug closed its doors for 2.5 months this spring. On May 28th, the store reopened. There's talk of others in town following suit.
The bank over there, they're getting things put back together there.
But for now, it's pure speculation.
Any businesses that we can bring back and get going and have that draw, that is essential to keeping this town alive.
Jody Hendrickson is helping to restore the Colonial Movie Theater.
This was a lighted runway to the front, another lighted runway there, seats and seats.
March's flooding ruined the theater's interior. Recent natural disasters haven't been kind to Hamburg businesses.
We've also lost our only restaurant in town, and so, it's imperative that we get this up and running so that we still have life going on here.
That was supposed to be 1 in 500 years. And I think we've had 3 500-year floods in the last 25 years.
In the meantime, this is the new normal. But like the other communities in Fremont County, Hamburg businesses will look to rebuild, restore, and reopen.
The more you see, the more positive, and you know that you're going in the right direction. And I'm just grateful and thankful that these people can come back.
Well, I've been here 40 years, but the store's been here since 1896. We're in it for the long haul, I guess.
Reporting in Hamburg, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.
After completing her sweat equity hours and meeting financial goals, Ilse Ramirez will soon be Habitat for Humanity's newest homeowner.
Without this program, it's a challenge for us, and we can see kind of impossible to own a house, to have a home.
She says she's ready to move to a part of town with less crime.
For me, it's kind of scary to live in an area like this, but with just thinking that really soon I'm going to have my own house, I'm going to have my own home for my daughter, that makes me happy.
Habitat for Humanity is buying 100 single-family homes from the Omaha Housing Authority. They will do light renovations on the homes, then sell through the home ownership program.
reshape maybe the kitchen or renovate a bathroom just because of age of the home. A lot of the homes are older stock. But generally speaking, it is kind of a paint, new carpet. Sometimes there might be the opportunity to do a new high efficiency furnace.
People currently living in the selected OHA homes can apply for the Habitat Home Ownership Program. If they're accepted, they can stay and become homeowners. Others will be relocated to different homes within the OHA.
We're going to have more folks who are in public housing now eventually be able to own their own home, and we know that that is a great pathway to come out of poverty because they earn equity.
Building a future for themselves that can one day be passed on to their children. And the studies show over and over again, children who are growing up in a home that's owned by the family, they're more likely to stay in school, stay out of trouble, get good jobs, and one day become homeowners themselves.
Ramirez says she's thankful for everyone coming together to make her dream of owning a home come true.
Everybody wants together, not seeing colors or not seeing culture, just work as a human and help each other, and we can make this possible.
In Omaha, Stephanie Nolte, 3 News Now.
Hard Bean Coffee opened up about 1.5 years ago, and the owners are still establishing their reputation in town. Now, if the tax goes through, one owner says it'll be even harder to get new customers in the building.
It's very concerning as a small business, very concerning.
A few weeks ago, the owners of Hard Bean Coffee got a letter in the mail alerting them a restaurant tax could be coming.
And I have to say that my heart kind of sank. Initially, it's one of fear and anxiety because the first thing you think of is we're very much a small business.
Operations Specialist Suzanne Suttmeyer says bigger coffee chains can absorb the cost of the tax, but it's different for a place like Hard Bean.
We feel every penny, even that wasted napkin that gets thrown on the ground and not used.
You wouldn't be surprised if people take their business to Papillion or even Bellevue, where no such tax exists.
Are you going to spend a little extra money to come promote a small business like us, or are you going to just keep traveling on by to say Papillion that you can go to a bigger chain and not have to pay that additional money?
But Mayor of La Vista Doug Kindig says the extra cash would help fund a number of projects, including the 84th Street development, which he thinks will bring lots of folks over to La Vista.
We could have 400,000 to 500,000 visitors a day, most of those being non-La Vista residents. If a very small percentage of those choose not to come to La Vista, I think we're still going to show a positive number.
Kindig says it's not just 84th Street. They also want to update parks and the sewer system, among other priorities. But everything gets pushed back if the extra tax is not pushed through.
It's going to slow down some of our projects. It's going to slow down our growth. We will adapt to that.
Kindig got unexpected resistance yesterday when Governor Pete Ricketts tweeted his opposition. Kindig says they talked it over on the phone, and he just wishes they would have done that before the governor pressed send.
So my choice is going to be that I'm not going to use mainstream media or social media to air my concerns. I think that's the right way to handle things.
And Kindig is cautiously optimistic that the council will vote yes. They'll take up the issue on August 20th. Reporting in the studio, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
Well, earlier this year, we brought you the story of Logan Moan, who overcame a traumatic dirt bike injury to return to the sport. His little brother Jack excels at a different event, and later this week will compete with some of the world's best.
It's pretty bad.
When Tim and Amy Moan gave their son Logan a Rubiks Cube in his Christmas stocking nearly 5 years ago, little did they know it would end up being the gift that keeps on giving for their younger son Jack,
21,
who battles autism.
Firm believer that kids on the spectrum have so many gifts that we don't know about yet and that we haven't fully recognized as a society.
Then 11-year-old Jack tried to solve it on his own for a few weeks.
Finished the rest around it.
Before figuring it out with the help of a YouTube video. Since then, Jack's interest and hands haven't stopped.
When I have nothing to do, I just do that for a couple of minutes to a couple hours.
The now 16-year-old from Utah has competed in multiple tournaments, and later this week will head to the national championships in Baltimore, Maryland.
5.1. It's always amazing to meet kids and others with, who've done this longer for 15 years, 10 years. 4.7.
How proud does that make you as a mom?
I can't even put words around it. It's fascinating. I could almost get teary about it because it's a great self-esteem thing for him. It's kind of a good exercise as a family to kind of understand, what they deal with all day, every day.
Not only does Jack compete in the common 3x3 Rubik's Cube competitions, where his personal best is 16 seconds, but also the 2x2, where his record is 3.6 seconds, and also the pyramid, which he has solved in 5.9 seconds.
I just think it's a gift. He hits a personal best and he puts the cube down. I go, yes! That's when we know he's really happy, and those videos are priceless.
Jack eventually wants to work for the company who makes Rubik's Cubes, although there are times at school Jack gets in trouble for practicing a little too much.
Yeah, a lot of times. I get that a lot.
Now that I've seen this whole kind of universe open up to him with the Rubik's Cube community, I could see him having all sorts of opportunities that come out of it.
Aubrey Trail is convicted of first-degree murder in the death of Sidney Loof, but not before changing his story again while on the witness stand.
Later down the road, I come up with a story to try to protect me and her, mostly her, but because it was only me, Bailey, and Sidney there the night Sidney died.
Weeks later, Bailey Boswell's attorneys file motions to have evidence thrown out. She's accused of luring the 24-year-old Loof to her Wilbur apartment, killing her, and cutting her up into 14 pieces. They want gruesome crime photos and talks of witchcraft and occults banned. They also don't want sex toys Boswell and Trail owned shown to jurors.
What you're seeing with all these motions being filed is just good legal practice is what it is.
Defense attorney Randy Paragas doesn't represent Boswell, but says it's part of the strategy to keep the jurors from being shocked by that evidence.
Those are the types of motions that keep out things that tend to inflame the jury and to prejudice the jury because they're so out of the ordinary. Some of those things these jurors would gasp when they saw them. And
Boswell's defense has also asked for a change of venue because of the exposure of Trail's trial this month. Paragas anticipates the judge may grant it and suggests it be moved to western Nebraska, since thousands around here have seen what Trail did to himself.
And I curse you all. Jesus! Simply because this case has been so sensationalized by the antics of Mr. Trail, and that's the type of thing that your viewers latch on to, and you don't forget those type of things because they are so out of the norm.
Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
At Husker Hounds on 84th and Center, football frenzy by shopping fans and the famous is in full swing ahead of year 2 of the Frost era.
Well, I think there's so much hope for the quality of the kids that Coach Frost and his staff are bringing in.
We have a good coach, we had some good recruits, we have a good fan base, and so every day is game day.
Nebraska Nation is officially back.
Last year was a kind of a workout year for them, and I think they're going to just do great.
Well, year 2 we would think about winning our conference.
Winning the conference is a gamble Ticket Express is up against as part of this year's promotion.
What a cool opportunity if you're going to buy a Nebraska ticket anyway, to basically be able to get a check in the month of December right before Christmas time.
The deal's pretty simple. Buy Huskers tickets before August 9th, and if they win their first Big Ten title, you get your cash back.
People look at the schedule and they basically say, hey, there are a lot of winnable games on this, and, we're going to be in the mix, we're going to be in the conversation at the end of the season.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
But Ticket Express really isn't gambling that much. Like most of these big promotions you see, Ticket Express signed a deal with an underwriter. All they have to pay is an upfront fee. The company, SEA, is the one that has to worry if NU takes the title in Indy.
They could be writing a check for anywhere from, up to probably about $250,000.
And we gotta ask, is this genius marketing by this Omaha company, or is this really betting against the Huskers' success?
It's more that we believe in the school, but yet at the same time, the promotion itself far outweighs the cost of basically the contract that we have written.
Opinions on the promotion vary, but everybody is on the Huskers hype train heading into 2019.
I think it's gimmicky. I think if you're a fan no matter what.
I think Nebraska's going to look a lot better this year, and I think it's fun for the fans.
I just hope we make it to a bowl game. If we get a bowl game this year, then we'll be going in the right direction.
Reporting in Omaha, Bill Bergman, 3 News Now.
A pile of colorful crayons.
I'm really good at drawing cats.
Leads to a stack of pictures full of imagination.
One of them is the guinea pig, and the other one's the hedgehog.
One for the guinea pigs, and I drew one for the cats.
And the message is simple.
And this one says, adopt me, please.
A picture that can make the difference for animals like Chloe the guinea pig and many others.
It says adopt me, and then here's the cat.
Once the pictures are done, the kids hang them by the animals' cages, hoping it leads to adoption.
They can have homes and families.
People just see those signs and they're more drawn to a cage that has something there saying, hey, look at me.
It's part of Camp Kindness at the Nebraska Humane Society, where the kids are taught to be kind to animals.
The kids really enjoy knowing that they are helping these animals find a family and a home and a place to live.
Tammy Conroy with NHS says the placing of the signs can be strategic.
A lot of times we'll find people putting these kennel buddy signs on kennels of animals that have been here a long period of time, or maybe a pair, such as like Ben and Jerry here, some of our rats that are up for adoption.
While there isn't any chunky monkeys, there's plenty of rodents and turtles, dogs and cats, all looking for homes, and a bunch of young artists ready to give them that picture-perfect ending.
Animals, just like humans, they want to be respected. They want to feel that love. Teaching our campers empathy to know that, hey, when you see an animal, treating them with respect and kindness is very important.
In Omaha, John Madden, 3 News Now.
Safety is important, but it's also kind of a fun thing to do to kind of get ready for kindergarten.
As these kindergartners got off the school bus this morning, they had some special help from officers with the Omaha Police Department. The officers were there to teach the kids an important lesson: how to be safe when crossing the street at school.
We kind of want to teach them not to be so afraid when you start school, and this is helping them of learning all the safety information that they will need when they're starting school.
For over 60 years, OPD helps teach kids starting school the basics of traffic safety. Some of those basics are the meaning of the colors of the traffic lights and how to look both ways to check for cars when crossing the street.
We have a couple of safety patrollers out there so that when the kids are out there at school and they have to use safety patrol, they know that they need to listen to the safety patrollers.
And parents say learning in this environment is a great way to kick off the start of the school year.
Now that he's going to be in kindergarten, he needs to learn how to be safe.
But the kids walk away with more than just safety knowledge.
We want them to be independent because starting school, they're not going to have their moms and dads there with them.
In Omaha, Alexa Ray, 3 News Now.
Today, 3 women will present the results of 6.5 months of work to hundreds of people at Do Space. Bianca Jefferson, Karina Glover, and April Gittell are part of Do Space's Female Innovators Fellowship Program. As part of the program, they develop projects to address challenges Omaha women in tech face. April Gettle developed Remoter.tech. It's a resource website that promotes flexible remote job opportunities in the Omaha area. She says remote work is one of the primary benefits within the tech community.
Most people are capable of self-managing, and we have the technology in place now that we maybe didn't 10 years ago, where we can effectively work remotely. We can video conference. There's been a good push for broadband that needs to expand more into rural communities.
Gettle says the Midwest is behind other major tech cities like San Francisco or Seattle. She also says she hopes her company will help shift attitudes about how people work in the Midwest. Each of the 3 fellows received $10,000 to launch or expand their company. The free showcase is tonight at 5:30 at Do Space. In studio, Sydney Gray, 3 News Now this morning.
Being smart about what you eat is a good idea, and that's why it's important to check the labels on the food you eat.
We can't be putting things in our food that are not good for us.
Food and how it's labeled sometimes isn't always what it seems. Reading labels can be complicated and hard to understand, and the ingredients in there can even be misleading. Flavorings, whether artificial or natural, can be hard to spot. And what does flavorings even really mean?
As far as just the phrase label or flavors go, flavors just basically implies it's not adding nutritional value, it's not adding calories, protein, anything like that, but it is adding taste and flavor.
The FDA oversees which ingredients are put into food labels, and they require a company to claim what's in their food is actually in their food. The World Health Organization, in collaboration with Food and Agriculture of the United Nations, are the ones that actually measure the human risk of ingredients. But the misleading loophole, general names like flavorings, which can be derived from spices, animals, or even labs. And you would never know because it's not specifically listed. If you have an allergy that isn't one of the top 8 most common to artificial or natural ingredients, it may be time to start thinking about doing research.
Like, let's say you're allergic to turmeric. Sometimes that can fall into that natural flavors category. And if that is a concern for you, it's kind of better just to stay away if you really are worried about it, or even just call up the company and say, hey, what does this mean? What did you put in here? Because I have an allergy I'm concerned about.
And even if you don't have an allergy but are truly concerned about the things you are putting into your body, it's best to still make those calls, ask people, and be careful about the ingredients listed on labels.
Yates also said if you do go out and eat and aren't sure of the ingredients, it's best to check the restaurant's website for nutrition facts or ask about it if they don't list it online. In studio, Corinna Fuda, 3 News Now this morning.
A new ropes course is open at Fontenelle Forest, and we asked the people at Tree Rush Adventures if we could check out the course, and it turned out to be quite a workout.
And swing these right over your shoulders. Perfect. There you go. Boom.
Right. Before you get to climb,
nice and snug,
you got to learn the rules. First, get to know your equipment.
This is called a tweezle. Say tweezle.
Tweezle. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
If you're a little afraid or you want some advice, at any time, if you need some help, you'll yell out staff and somebody will come and run it.
And take it one step at a time. Ow! Because you've got 6 acres worth of exploring.
It's a lot of rope, it's a lot of cable, it's a lot of wood.
100 challenging elements with 7 different courses, reaching 55 feet up in the air. Mark would not like this. Tree Rush Adventures just opened up this week, but crews started construction at Fontenelle Forest back in April.
It began with moving telephone poles through the great room and out a window on makeshift dollies to get our poles back here because there was no way around the building.
And if you think that's impressive, you should see how well our photographer handled the course. It takes patience. Come on. And grace.
Oh, come on.
Or at least a good sense of humor.
Oh.
But if you follow all the rules,
staff,
you'll do just fine.
Oh.
And likely get a good workout.
Fully nude girls.
It's very inappropriate.
Stay-at-home moms earn extra cash.
I don't think it should be on the main street like this.
The sign hangs near 72nd and Blondo on the building for Candis Gentlemen's Club. Neighbors want to take it down.
It's kind of crass.
Jetta Evelyn says she shouldn't have to explain to her 8-year-old son what it means.
My son has seen this sign and he has asked, Mom, why would moms go be naked? Like, why do they want naked moms? And the fact that it has fully nude girls, stay-at-home moms, my son can read that. He knows what nude means, and it's just kind of terrible.
The business doesn't have a liquor license, which has made it more difficult for the city to regulate.
That shouldn't be put on a banner. That's way too much. That's not good.
They got a preschool right here for little kids. I don't think they should have to see that.
Some people I talked to off camera said they aren't bothered by the sign or the business. I'll take a look at this, the front door temporary close sign for Candis Gentlemen's Club. I have tried to get in touch with the owner. It's still unclear why the sign is up and why they are closed at this time. Councilman Pete Festerson says they have made Candis take a sign down under temporary sign restrictions before, but it also falls under free speech. Greg Johnson, owner of AAA Electrostatic Painting next door, wants the owner to be a good neighbor and remove it.
Small businesses, we support them a lot, but businesses like that shouldn't be in a neighborhood like this. Wish you'd take it down, listen to everybody.
Reporting at 72nd and Blondo, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
Candis had its liquor license denied, but the appeal is still going through the Court of Appeals. The owner did not return any of our calls today.
Off the backboard.
To some, video games are not life-changing.
We got the dub 126 to 118.
But to others, video games are changing their lives.
I started off playing baseball, where I have to hold the bat with one hand and then swing and try to hit home runs.
Baseball is a familiar sport to Marty Ewing.
Go.
As a college pitcher, he lived his field of dreams.
Played ever since I was 6, so pitching was definitely a big part of my life.
But that life changed for Marty back in March, when after a dispute, gunmen fired multiple shots into a house while a party was going on, and one bullet shifted Marty's reality.
The first one went through the back door and hit me in the neck.
Several surgeries in a wheelchair later, Marty is unable to play sports.
Let's get after it.
Well, that's until he puts on a virtual reality headset.
Immerses me in like the whole stadium standpoint with the sound going through the ears. It really makes me feel like I'm there.
But the game is more than just entertainment. It's used for his physical therapy sessions as he continues to relearn movements, regain strength, and re-energize his passion.
Sweet. Not only does it work my fine motor in my hands, but it works my core, arms, pretty much everything you could ask for from a physical therapy standpoint.
This is like weight training for him in a lot of ways.
Aaron Young, a therapist at QLI, says the motions help Marty's brain relearn motor skills and make his muscles stronger in a way many 19-year-olds would enjoy.
Certainly the path that he's on right now is a hard one. So if there are ways that we can bring a little lightness, a little fun to it, still in a way that's going to benefit him, that's always going to be our main goal.
And like reaching a new level in a video game, Young has seen progress with Marty.
It was really hard for him just to keep his head up without me reminding him. And you see him today, and that's no problem. He doesn't have the collar on, he's keeping his neck extended, his shoulders back. Those were things that even a few weeks ago were hard for him.
But it's not just Marty. VR helping patients is a growing trend all across the nation. And for someone that's gone through it, he thinks it's worth giving it a try.
I feel it could benefit anybody.
As for Marty, he has dreams to be back on that pitching mound in the future and thinks this virtual reality will help turn that goal into reality.
As I continue to do it, it's going to continue to get me stronger, and I hope to continue to get stronger and regain function for sure.
In Omaha, John Madden, 3 News Now.
Stay connected at 3newsnow.com.